Our mind is always dragging us into the past or pulling ourselves into the future. Our mind says, what if I did this? What if this could have happened? What could have done? What if this happens in the future? Our mind is always trying to solve a problem, to find an explanation for everything. If there's some outcome that happened that isn't optimal, that we don't like, our mind is always trying to shame and blame ourselves for what I could have done wrong, what I could have done better, dragging us into the future. Oh, what if this happens? And it's becoming this habitual conditioning of our mind to try to find a reason for everything, trying to find a reason to blame ourselves. Let's say we had some sort of rejection. Our mind's like, I'm not enough. What if I did this? I must have done something wrong. But truly, we can't take everything personally. But our mind is so used to producing perspectives on things that is self-referential in terms of how this situation relates to me, what I could have done better, what I did wrong. And these are, in large part, illusions. But when we understand that the mind is used to this type of conditioning, we can understand that these thoughts aren't necessarily true. So trying to find acceptance with what is, instead of trying to say, oh, what if this happened? What went wrong? What could I have done better? And of course, there's circumstances where this type of thinking is useful. Okay, I made some mistake on this spreadsheet. Oh, well, now I know in the future what I could do. That's very useful. But often these types of reasons and explanations our mind comes up with of what we could have done better, what we did wrong, are not useful. So we're going to do a quick practice right now. So you can find a place that's comfortable, and you can keep your back straight, a little straighter than usual, and you can gently close your eyes. And begin to find a comfortable posture where you feel steady, and just picture a mountain in your mind. A large, beautiful mountain. And just let your mind soak into all the little details. The weather, the color. Make it your own. And now picture this strong mountain in midst of all four of the seasons. Picture in the winter the snow, the cold, and then the spring, more sunshine and more green, more flowers, and the summer, hot thunderstorms, and then autumn, the trees, the leaves change color, and winds. And just observe through all of these seasons, all of the weather change. The mountain stays exactly where it is, unaffected. Now you are this mountain, whatever may happen in life. having this ability to stay calm and stable and strong amidst any change. You are this mountain. And now you can gently open your eyes. And this is a beautiful analogy we can have for a type of way of being that isn't chasing the future, that isn't trying to change the past, that is simply stable and being in a way that's conducive for acceptance of what is. Now, this can be a tricky thing to kind of wrap our heads around, because once again, our mind is always trying to explain everything. And there's a lot of suffering that comes out of a result of this. So what we want to try to do is remind ourselves when our mind starts thinking about different things that could have been, or that might be. Just coming back to what is. Going from what if, what could have been, to what is now. And accepting this moment for what it truly is. And there's beauty in the moment. True happiness lies within the present moment. Think about this. Think about going to a concert and listening to your favorite artist. Or maybe just in your car listening to music. Or at a sports game. The things we enjoy most about in life are the things that bring us fully into the moment. It's a great play in a sports game for our favorite team. It's a new song from our favorite artist that just gives us chills. These moments we seek are moments where we are completely in the present moment. We're not thinking about the past or the future. We're just soaked in the moment and just enjoying it. And in life, our mind is so good at distracting ourselves from the present moment. And we can see thoughts as often a filter through which we see the present moment and experience it. So there's always this little narration going on in our mind as we're experiencing the world in the moment. Maybe as we're driving, there's some chatter in our mind about, oh gosh, I'm late. This driver in front of me, are they driving so slow? On and on and on and on and on and on. And this is something that really taints our view of the present. So when we become more present, it's like we're rubbing the crust out of the corner of our eyes so that we can see clearly again. So let's try another practice for a moment. So please, gently close your eyes and having a nice, dignified, straight posture. And just view the lens of your life as a movie screen. And you're the only one in the movie theater. And just picture your favorite movie playing. And sometimes your favorite movie is playing. But sometimes it's a video that you find boring. Or maybe it's a movie you find scary and you don't like. And we can view the lens of the world like this. There's going to be things that are pleasant, neutral, and unpleasant. The key is to not get sucked into the vortex of our mind, just obsessing about trying to run away from the unpleasant and trying to hold on to so tightly the good moments, trying to not let it slip away. What happens if we're in the front row of the movie and there's a good movie, we enjoy that, but if there's a bad movie and we're in the front row, there's almost like there's no escape because it's so close. So what we're doing is having a perspective of moving back a few rows and seeing the whole picture. And when a movie you don't like is on, you're not helplessly stuck right in front of it. You see a broader perspective. And now you can gently open your eyes. So this was just kind of a visualized analogy, so to speak, of how what we want to do in our life, in our mind, in our way of awareness, is to have a broader scope so that we're not so close to our thoughts that they become ingrained, that we have this separation between ourselves and the movie screen, so that we have some sort of freedom. And a lot of this is perpetuated by fear and loneliness and confusion and distraction. And all of these things are just more things that kind of have this ingrained type of being within our present moment awareness. So we're trying to see a little clearer. We're trying to see broader. And the status quo, so to speak, in our mind is this habitual seeking of the good and pushing away of the bad and ignoring the neutral. But if we can treat each moment with this broad and clear awareness, we're giving ourselves the ability to actually cherish and be in the moment, regardless of what it is. So, mindfulness is this way of being that is clear, that is kind, that isn't biased, that is completely present. We're not rehearsing the past or anticipating the future. We're not looking over our shoulder to see what's next, or looking over our shoulder, what could have been. All of this needless anxiety and neuroticism, and this unacceptance of how things are leads to a lot of mental suffering. So just trying to be with what is, because we're going to drive ourselves crazy if we keep hopping on the train of thoughts in our mind of trying to explain, trying to find a reason why this rejection happened, trying to find an answer for everything. But if we can just drop that needless seeking of an explanation for failure, then we have more mental freedom. Another thing to keep in mind also is just remembering that we can't control everything. Our mind wants us to control things. Our mind doesn't like uncertainty or ambiguity. So often what happens is maybe we wake up today and we just have the thought, I just feel a little off today. But often we're so engrossed in that thought that we automatically believe it. But really, what it is just our mind trying to control. And much of the world is out of our control. So trying to control the uncontrollable, which is most things outside of us, is like trying to catch water running out of a faucet with our hands. And it just keeps leaking through. Kitten distracting me. So all of the mental suffering that's going on is usually this non-acceptance of what is. So I like to have a thought in my mind, let the universe do its thing. Of course, this doesn't mean be completely indifferent and passive. But it's kind of like letting the world be how it is and not trying to interfere with everything by trying to go with the flow. So just gently close your eyes for a moment and have a good posture. And just picture a beautiful river and picture yourself as the water. And notice as you're going downstream, there's going to be rocks in the way. There's going to be different grooves. There's going to be sand. There's going to be obstacles. But what are you doing as the water if there's a rock in the way? Well, you just flow around it. You don't fight it. You don't stay right in front of it and wait for the rock to get out of the way. You don't try to push the rock away. You just peacefully meander around it. There's no fighting or struggling. It's just this acceptance and just going with the flow. And you can gently open your eyes again. So these are just some type of visualizations we can keep in mind that are very analogous and useful to a way of being in this world that doesn't condone constant neurotic thoughts and fear and frustration and non-acceptance. So that's really the theme of today, acceptance. Acceptance of what is, not what could have been, not what should be. Not trying to control everything that's uncontrollable. Not trying to find a reason to blame ourselves for what could have been or should have been. That would have been ideal. But not everything in situations in life are going to be ideal. But that doesn't mean it's inherently bad. So if we can accept what is, we can really alleviate a lot of mental frustration and struggle. And often when we have unpleasant emotions, let's say we feel loneliness, we don't like the feeling of loneliness. We regularly try to spin ourselves out of it, trying to find a way to control it, finding a reason why we feel this way. A reason for the rejection. That's my fault. This is an illusion. So we have to catch our mind when it starts going on these trains of thoughts of shame and blame. That's often on ourselves. What did I do? What's wrong with me that I got rejected in this way? So just being a little kinder to yourself. Having a broader scope of situations and emotions. Not making everything so self-referential in our thoughts. And give ourselves credit or discredit, shame and blame from situations that we wish happened differently or want to happen a certain way. We have to relinquish some control and let the universe do its thing, and going with the flow and accepting not what if, but living in the present for what is. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys next time.